Hey guys, it's you again with another episode of Sports Buzz, and today I'm going to give my thoughts on Super Bowl 48 between the Denver Broncos and Seattle Seahawks. It was held in East Rutherford, New Jersey today, and about an hour and a half ago. So I'm just giving my thoughts really fast on the game, pregame festivities, my thoughts on the weather and just everything surrounding the Super Bowl, including the halftime show, maybe a little bit of the commercial, mention a little bit of that. All right, guys. Well, let me start from the beginning. The headlines, of course, there was a couple for me being the matchup itself. Obviously, this is a dream matchup for the NFL in Roger Goodell. Seattle were the number one defense in the league this year, creating havoc, especially at home, but away as well. Just definitely improved from last year and looked amazing, not only in this game but all year. Able to force turnovers versus Denver Broncos in their high-powered offense, led by Peyton Manning, 37 years old. You have Demaryius Thomas, you have Eric Decker, you have Wes Welker, you have Julius Thomas, you've got Andre Caldwell, you got Noshan Moreno, you got a whole bunch of guys on this offense, record-setting offense. Peyton's throwing the touchdowns, 57, I believe, this year, record-setting in everything. Dream matchup for the NFL. Very, very intriguing going into it. That's one headline. Another headline, of course, not for me necessarily personally, but for networks like for the networks. And I just want to bring my thoughts on it. I've heard this a lot, even on the Weather Channel. You see um, on ESPN. You see on any sports network you turn on, any radio station you turn on. What's the weather going to be like? Because it was play outside in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The New Jersey Super Bowl is just being touted as Super Bowl 48. Was played outside. Roger Goodell sat outside, and it was a snow plan put in place. In case the weather was bad, which it wasn't. The weather, it was either slated to be played yesterday, today, Monday, Tuesday, or I believe even Wednesday, at the latest, obviously. But there was a plan put in place. I'd never heard of that before, so I found that interesting. Obviously, that plan was not needed. It was nice enough, like for Roger Goodell to sit outside, like I had just said. It was, I believe, in the 20s, or upper 20s and low 30s when the game started, kind of decreasing a little bit. Weather was perfect. You couldn't necessarily even tell it was playing outside. Very, very interesting there. So that's just one of the headlines, and let's just get right into it. All right, so the national anthem was the first thing, obviously, that you're going to think about when you think of the Super Bowl. Very, very stunning rendition by opera singer Renee Fleming, and I found that very interesting, very, very nice, a nice patriotic way to send off and begin America's favorite sport, America's pastime, football in this case. All right, another. All right, to start with the game here, things did not go right from the start for the Denver Broncos. Obviously, Seattle won 43-8. So let's get right into it here. First possession of the game, Denver has the ball. Literally 5 seconds to do it. The ball is snapped by center Manny Ramirez, and it's snapped over Peyton Manning's head. Goes in the end zone for a safety. It's 2-0 Seattle after Marshawn Noshan Moreno, was able to recover the ball and was tackled, so it's a safety. 2-0. After a couple field goals by Seattle, it is 8-0. Denver has the ball back and trying to drive down the field. Obviously, the game is still in hand at this point, and Peyton Manning throws an interception to Cam Chancellor, the safety for the Seattle Seahawks. One of his two interceptions on the night. He was 34 for 49 in the game, 280 yards, one touchdown, and two interceptions. And that kind of set the tone. It was an ugly game from there. Um, Skipping around here, I'll mention this really fast and give you some stats. First, we'll start with the Denver side. Peyton Manning, as I said, had a record amount of completions for the game with 34. Noshan Moreno had a horrible, horrible game. Denver couldn't even get anything going. Noshan Moreno had 5 attempts, 17 yards, nine long rushing was the stat for Noshan. Monte Ball had 1 yard receiving for the Denver Broncos. Demaryius Thomas led all receivers with 13 receptions, 118 yards, one interception, and 22 was a long reception there. Wes Welker had 8 receptions, 84 yards, no touchdowns. Julius Thomas had 4 receptions for 27 yards. Let's see who scored a touchdown. Demarius Thomas scored a touchdown for Denver to make it 7, and they were able to get the 2-point conversion. Just an ugly, ugly game from the start. One of the big plays of the game, and I'll kind of skip ahead, was the second interception by Peyton Manning from linebacker Malcolm Smith, a pick 6. He is the Super Bowl MVP, 60-yard interception return on Peyton Manning. Just very, very ugly for Peyton all day. He was very perplexed all game, was not able to figure out the defense. I don't know if that was the case or I don't know. I don't know what the case was with Peyton today. It did surprise me how bad he played, how bad the team wasn't able to get open. Seattle's defense played marvelously, and I'll get to that in a minute as well. But it just amazed me that yeah, I words can't even describe. I'll just keep saying it. If I say another thing, I do want to mention though, when Denver had the fall, especially early, and you would think, okay, even if it's 22-0, which I believe it was at halftime, um, you know, Denver had the ball, they couldn't get anything going because they had a fumbling problem today. All Peyton Manning, Ushan Moreno, Manny Ramirez, of course, Demarius Thomas, all had fumbles. In one loss by Peyton Manning, one loss by Demarius Thomas. So Seattle's defense was doing what they do all year. They've made turnovers all year. It's exactly what they were doing. It impressed me very, very much. Especially the defensive side of the ball. Say what you want about Richard Sherman. Say what you want about the safeties and whatnot. But they shut down these receivers. Even the crossing routes to Wes Welker was just shut down. Everything was shut down. It amazed me. And just to see it, just to see how they game plan. Pete Carroll, and as much as you'll say you'll like him, you have to give him respect for what he was able to come up with and what the team was able to come up with. His coaches, the defensive coordinator, and everything they were able to come up with that side. I'll give you some stats on Seattle Seahawks now. Of course, they had a huge game. Russell Wilson really did impress me as well. He had 18 completions on 25 attempts, 206 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tavares Jackson was not involved. Apparently, it says on NFL.com has 1 attempt. Percy Harvin was the star of the show for me. He had 2 rushing attempts for 45 yards. Did have a kick return for a touchdown as well, which kind of slid momentum there. Marshawn Lynch, 15 attempts, rushing for 39 yards, 1 touchdown. He also looked, he was bottled up a lot. Obviously, if you see for the 39 yards, but on a touchdown, he was able to scamper right in. That was kind of when the marbles fell out from Denver. And that's very, very interesting. Another thing, Russell Wilson did have 28 yards on 3 attempts. Robert Turbin had 9 yards on 25 attempts. He also looked very, very good against the kind of depleted Denver defense that's been good against the run recently. Another thing that did impress me was Seattle's offense. Doug Baldwin led the attack today with 5 receptions for 66 yards, 1 touchdown. That was a long touchdown. It was 37 yards. Jermaine Kearse, another one of my favorites on the Seattle team, did have 4 receptions rather for 65 yards, 1 touchdown, the long being 24 yards. And just basically the whole offense had multiple receptions. I mean, you have the top 2 guys, the top 2 receivers. You have Golden Tate had 3 receptions. Obviously, Percy Harvin had 1 for 5 yards, but he did have that return for the touchdown. And like I said, for Peyton Manning, if I did not mention it, I don't remember. Peyton did throw the 1 touchdown to Demarius Thomas when things were out of hand already. And defensively, like I had said, you have Malcolm Smith with the pick 6. He was the MVP of the game. So overall, with the game itself, very, very lopsided. For all the Peyton Manning fans, I don't think this is obviously not the end for Peyton Manning. I think he will be back to give it one more shot after this year. But it wouldn't surprise me in the coming days if he says, "Okay, I'm done." I highly doubt that would happen. But just the way that he looked depleted. Because the Seattle defense was able to disguise your coverage, was able to kind of get in the way, and he did not have the arm strength in this game. Instead of kind of throwing rockets like like a Russell Wilson did on a couple plays. He was kind of throwing the ball up and kind of, like he's done all year, but all year the ball has kind of found a receiver. This time the ball kind of fluttered and just sat up there. It had no life to it. It just had air, but it just didn't. The receivers couldn't get open or run underneath it. It was horrible. From Peyton, and he knows that. And I'm sure with the interviews he will say that many times. But I'm not putting this all on Peyton Manning. Just the whole team, the running game could not get involved, and but the main story will obviously be Peyton Manning in this game. I think that's it for the game itself. One thing I do want to mention. Let's start out with the halftime show. The halftime show featured um, superstar Bruno Mars rather and Red Hot Chili Peppers, kind of clashing genres there. It went off at 8:45 Eastern time. Bruno Mars started the performance. He's a very energetic guy. He had a retro gold kind of suit on and just a tie and kind of looked all dressed up. Kicked off his performance with a drum solo, kind of very interesting there. Going to launch his band right into his song Locked Out of Heaven. Had some very impressive dancing as far as that goes. Performance of Treasure and Runaway Baby was their song that I didn't necessarily know. I was very impressed by the halftime show from Bruno Mars. He put on a great show, and that will launch his summer tour, which will be hitting multiple venues across the United States, and I believe Canada, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not necessarily sure about this. All I know is United States. Let's see who we have. The halftime show, of course, also then after Bruno Mars started out, the Red Hot Chili Peppers and him teamed up for the song "Give It Away." The entire the crowd and the band members and everybody just jammed out. Had a nice jam session there. But, it was very nice to see, and until just and then the Red Hot Chili Peppers went away. Bruno had a very heartwarming, touching performance of "Just the Way You Are." Very nice there to finish off the halftime show. It was a very odd combination. I will say this, and I've read this online. Very odd combination. I didn't know what to expect from the two different performances, but I did like it. It was very high energy, very fun. It took me away from the football, which is obviously very kind of depressing today, as I was saying a little bit before. And I think it was very fun to see Bruno live, very fun to see Red Hot Chili Peppers live. Brought the two worlds together, and there you go. And then another thing I do want to talk about, one more thing finally, is the Super Bowl commercials. Like I said, I was able to watch the majority of the game from the first quarter. And obviously, I was not impressed with the Super Bowl commercials this year. One commercial that does stick out to me was the bear in the grocery store with the Greek, the yogurt. I found it very interesting. Another commercial that obviously will be turning heads if you were able to see it would be the Seinfeld reunion with Jason Alexander and Jerry Seinfeld. It was very funny. I did not expect to see this. I heard rumors of this, and that obviously turned my head and made me laugh a little bit. It was kind of the goal. Other than that, I wasn't overly impressed. So it was very interesting just to see how the dynamic of the Super Bowl this year played out. And although it was a blowout, I had a good time at the party I was at. Hopefully, like I said, Peyton Manning comes back for one more year, is wrapping up this, and we'll give it another shot. I do think, although Denver got blown out, I think if they're able to keep it together and and keep Peyton healthy, if and when he decides to come back, and if they can stable up the offensive line, and if they can, change things around a little bit on the defensive side, since your defense is a little shaky at points. I think they have a chance of coming back here next year to the Super Bowl 2015. We'll see. You never know about injuries. You never know what Peyton Manning will decide going forward here. It's gonna be very interesting. All Alright, so thank you guys for watching this recap of the Super Bowl 48. I know it's a little longer than I expected. I know I don't have all the information that I normally do. I apologize for this. I just want to get my quick reaction. I know I put some stats out there. Yeah, what did you guys think of the Super Bowl? Obviously, it was a lopsided loss for the Denver Broncos. They were favorites in this game, but marginal favorites. Very, very, it went neck and neck, I think, in Vegas. And of course, Floyd Mayweather did put $10 million in the Denver Broncos, so we lost that. I mean, if you're gonna put money on that, I mean, I don't know why you would do that, but it's very, very interesting to see how the bets and how Vegas reacts to this reaction to this winning by the Seattle Seahawks. Alright guys, well thank you for watching this episode of Sports Buzz. I want to congratulate the Seattle Seahawks for winning the Super Bowl this year, 43-8. Congratulations! It was a interesting game to watch, regardless of entertaining game to watch from being a kind of Seattle fan. In this case, but yeah, thank you guys for watching this episode of Sports Buzz. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, please give it a like and please subscribe to my channel. I try to put out sports videos when I can. I normally have a little bit more information than I do today. Just figured I'd do this really, really fast. But thank you guys for watching the episode of Sports Buzz. Have a nice night. Goodbye.